and welcome back to the driver career mode with Anthony Novak at Kick Sauber. As we left off, we've got Australia, the first race of the season. Let's get into it, see what we can do. Not expecting much beyond, I think we're going to be out in Q1. I don't think we're going to make it into the top 15. And I think the race might be kind of difficult, especially at the start of the year. As you can see here, we on paper have the worst car on the grid. So going to take some work. Definitely going to spend some time in practice getting resource points so our team can upgrade the car. As a reminder, R&D, that's automated. We don't have anything to do with that. We're leaving that to the team. So let's get into Australia and into practice. Let's see how this car performs. We've got some great news for qualifying and the race. The weather is dry. We had a bunch of developments completed. I didn't get any emails about that. I don't know when that came through, but that's awesome to see. And here we go. 3 practice sessions, qualifying in the race. Let's get into practice 1. All right, we're in the car now, and here are the practice programs we've got available. Race strategy, fuel management, and tire management. But before I do any of that, we're just going to get out on track and see how the car feels. Our first time in an F1 car, and it feels good. Even though it's the worst car on the grid, it still feels good for us as a rookie. Really, I feel like our only goals this year are going to be try to keep up with our teammate, not let that gap get too big. And, if we can get out of Q1 with any sort of consistency, I think that would be a huge win. But we're not expecting much for the start of the season. Just going to get acclimated with the car now before we get into the practice programs. All right, I got a few laps under my belt here with the car. It's not the easiest to drive. We got track limits. That's why it's all highlighted red. We also hit the tap the wall, we'll say, just a bit as we see a couple of other cars coming out for practice. Really tough in the low-speed corners. The high-speed corners are better, but once again, we've got a lot of work to do with this car. I'm going to go through the practice programs now. That's race strategy, tire management, and fuel management. I'm not going to show any of that. We'll just skip to see our results in those before we get into qualifying. We're finishing up our first run through the fuel management. We'll get into the green maybe here. Up maybe almost into the purple, and we got the lap times. We got green. We'll try to go for purple and maximize our research points. And after trying fuel management a few times, I wasn't able to improve. So we're going to move on to tire management. We had a great run on the tire management program, but right at the end, I lost a bunch of time. We're going to try it again right here and see if maybe we can get it, because we were definitely in the purple. And we were up on time the whole lap except for those last few corners. And I think we're just going to get into the green here as Isaac Hadjar kind of slows us down a bit. But we do complete the program with green. Not a great showing. For most of the lap, we're able to... Oh, I was going to make way for him on the racing line. He just crashed into the back of me. Whatever. As you see, we finished last. And our teammate... was up into 11th on the medium. However, we weren't really going for speed. You can see here we're about a second off, but for most of we didn't go out like the last 20-30 minutes of the session. For most of it, we were only about 0.3 off. And on the medium tire, we were doing fuel management and tire management. We're actually just going to go to quick practice for practice 2. Let's go for race strategy. Well, no, actually, I want to save that because I actually want to do that one. Let's just try to maximize this. We can take our time. We don't really need to stress because we failed that one, but eventually we'll pass it all and get those maxed out. Yeah, and pretty quickly we were able to max out fuel management 5 out of 5 and tire management 5 out of 5. In practice 3, we'll go through race strategy because I really want to see what our base is and before we get into qualifying. Practice 3, we're going to go through race strategy, see what our pace is on a longer run. And then we'll get into qualifying and see where we start for the race. And here we go with the race strategy practice program. I'm going to do all 5 laps. In practice 3, we could only put on soft tires. I don't want to go too fast. I really want to be representative. I don't know if we're going to spend much time on the soft tire during the race. We'll just see how it goes. I'm expecting that we'll be able to meet our lap times. One of the things I'm really interested in is, oh, that was nice, Stroll moving out of the way. I feel like in the last few games, the AI hasn't been too good about that. But one thing I'm really just interested in is how in practice 3, just what our time is compared to everyone else, especially our teammate. I'm not taking these corners too well, and we're still 3/10 up on the delta, you can see in the top right. So doing well so far. And we're finishing up our 5th lap here. As you can see, we didn't hit the time on the first one, but ever since we've been great. I treated that last lap as sort of a qualifying practice, and we jump up into P2 right behind Max. That's not great. Maybe the difficulty is too low. We'll have to assess that, but we'll see where everyone lines up after the practice session. If we're still really high, we might bump the difficulty up a little bit. But for now, great test, 5 out of 5. We've maxed out all of our practice programs, and we're ready for qualifying. At the end of practice 3, we did drop down into 12th, but we're still like almost a second ahead of our teammate. So for qualifying, I'm going to move the difficulty up a little bit. I hope it doesn't put us completely out completely out of it. But to be honest, I don't envision us getting out of Q1 anyway, so that's probably more realistic. So I'm going to bump the difficulty up a bit, and let's get into qualifying. Here we are in qualifying. Honestly, on the soft tire, the car felt really good the whole way around the lap. And that race strategy practice program, I felt like I was flying. Move the difficulty up a little bit just to see how it goes. As far as setup, I'm not someone that spends a lot of time on that. I'm just going to keep it on balance for now until I have a reason not to. Just a reminder from the introduction video, the first episode, regarding flashbacks, we do not use flashbacks in qualifying. Ever. It's not going to happen. If we crash the car, we're out. If we screw up, it is what it is. So no flashbacks in qualifying. Also no flashbacks during the first lap of the race, during the last lap of the race, and during intentional overtaking maneuvers, which I'll probably go over more before the race. But for now, is anyone out on track? Oh yeah, there's 9 people out on track. Let's put on the soft tire, and we kind of screwed up there. We kind of missed our opportunity. I was yapping. I'm going to wait until that gap when Piastri. So you see the start-finish line, that checkered flag there. I don't want to go out into traffic, but you see after Piastri, that last car, PIA, there is a lot of space. So I'm probably going to head out right now, and by the time we get there, we'll be ready to start our outlap. And for our outlap, I'm going to move the ERS deployment to none, just to save it all for our actual hot lap. We'll just spend this outlap just kind of warming up the tires a bit. I'm kind of watching out behind me to make sure we don't hold anybody up. We'll just take this lap slow. I don't think I'm going to show this full qualifying lap just because we're going to have another run at it towards the end of the session. As our teammate there goes fastest overall, he might have been the first runner there, hitting a 1:21, which I think is doable by us. But anyways, I don't think I'm going to show this full qualifying lap that's coming up, but we'll definitely show the full lap towards the end of the session. That kind of determines where we end up for the start of the race. And as we start our first qualifying lap, I saw Yuki go to the top of the leaderboards with a 1:19 something. I don't think we're anywhere close to that, but he is in a Red Bull. I've got the ERS deployment to hot lap, and here we go for our first qualifying lap of our career. Already a little slow, and I already messed up the first corner. We're just going to try to get through this. We've got another lap to go. And as we come to the end of this lap, I can say we were slipping and sliding all over the place with no grip, especially at the start of the lap for like the first sector. So I think this is going to be a pretty bad time. Honestly, I think we just didn't do a good enough job warming the tires up. But we're not last. As you can see, Hadjar is behind us in the Racing Bull. Let's get back to the garage and see what the grid looks like right now. After everyone has finished their first run, we're not last, which is actually pretty encouraging considering the lap we had, especially the first sector was really bad. Although, as you can see, we actually, in that first sector, we were faster than Isaac Hadjar, but besides that, we were last. Our teammate Nico Hulkenberg is over a second quicker than us and in 10th place in the worst car on the grid. That makes us look really bad, but I'm confident that we can greatly improve our time, especially in the first sector. And like his first sector time was a 28.6. I almost think we can do better than that just because we were slipping and sliding so much. We didn't do a good enough job warming our tires up, and it didn't allow us to be aggressive going around corners. So in our last lap of the session, which we're just going to do one more, I'm really going to focus on warming up the tires better, and then hopefully we can be really aggressive in the first section, because I feel like that's probably the sector that I'm the best at on this track is the first one, especially sort of after the second DRS zone, that little part of the corners there. I just couldn't be aggressive. So let's fast forward a little bit and go out for our last lap. Will we get out of Q1? It sure seems like Nico Hulkenberg will. We're going to set our ERS deployment to hot lap, and here we go around the final corner. Let's get this started and see how quick we can go. I'm going to try not to commentate too much because I don't want to be distracted, and I want to get as fast of a time as possible and try to at least match our teammate. I mean, that's the goal. If our teammate is up in P10, then we got to get somewhere close. Let's just try to be aggressive. Oh, no, 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 no. Well, that's exactly what I didn't want to have happen. Like I said, we are not doing flashbacks, although it's going to prompt me to. That's going to be it. I just totally lost it around that corner there. I don't know what happened. That hadn't happened in any of the practice or anything. How do I change the camera angle? What did I do? I mean, let's fast forward a bit. I just lost it coming around the corner. I tried to put too much power down, I think, and we're straight into the wall. Luckily, I don't think we're going to start last. It depends on how the other drivers did. But like I said, we don't do flashbacks, and that is just a stupid error on my end. Hopefully, Isaac Hadjar, forget who was in 19th, they don't pass us, but there's a good chance we're starting last year in our first Formula One race. Let's see. And we do end up last, which I guess is expected. But I really feel like there was positives to take from that. I think we could have gone a lot faster, and honestly, I think we could have gotten out of Q1 in this. Nico Hulkenberg, our teammate, kicks our ass. P7. Getting out of Q1, we're last. But granted, I still think there was more time in that car. I think we could have done better than that, so super disappointing. But we'll just have to see if we can make it up in the race. So unfortunately, we weren't able to see the starting grid after qualifying. So this is our first time seeing it in the pre-race graphics. Max starts on pole. Lando, very close to getting pole, but Norris second. Piastri, Tsunoda. The main thing I want to see is where did Nico Hulkenberg end up? Please not in the top 10. The higher up he is, the worse we look. Come on. Okay, we're doing good here. 14. Okay, I think that we could have legitimately gotten there without that mistake in turn one. I think we could have gotten there. And obviously, we're going to start in a Sauber. Yeah, they didn't have Anthony Novak as one of the audio names, so that's fine, though. We're starting 20th. Got some ground to make up. That's no problem. It's a long race. For this first race, we're just going to stick with the default strategy. I've played around with a few different options. It doesn't really make sense to me to go 19 laps on a medium and then 21 laps on a hard. Seems like there should be a bigger gap between those. And I thought about even going for this alternate strategy, but let's just go with the default strategy to start. Medium, medium, hard to end the race, and then obviously depending on what happens with safety cars or whatever it may be, that could all change. But let's start with that plan. And here we are starting the formation lap. We're in last place. That's okay. Basically, as a reminder with flashbacks and how we kind of do this here, as we saw in qualifying, I'm not playing about the flashback thing. If we crash in the first corner, then we're out of the race. And that's just how it is. If we crash on the last lap, we're out of the race. Because on the first lap and the last lap of the race, we are not using flashbacks. Prohibited, not allowed. Another time we're not using flashbacks is during intentional overtaking moves. Meaning, if I'm trying to overtake someone, like I'm going for a move, and I misjudge it and we crash, we can't flash back and change that. And that's set in stone no matter what. Now, if we're trying to be overtaken by an AI and they do something that I think is fair, we're not flashing back and we crash or something. Now, if they do something that I think is ridiculous and not fair, and it doesn't make any sense, then we will flash back because I don't think that that's fair to us. The times that we can use flashbacks is if I lose concentration for a second and I crash into the car ahead of us. If I lose concentration and I just go off into the distance and hit a wall for absolutely no reason. Now, if I'm really pushing and I spin off and hit a wall, it basically just depends on my discretion. Do I feel like it's justified or not? Do I feel like this is realistic? If it feels unrealistic, like I sneeze and we crash into the wall, I'm going to flash back. If it feels realistic and I'm pushing or something and we lose the car, then I'm not flashing back. So that's kind of how we're going to do it. Didn't expect that explanation to take the full formation lap, but here we are. I don't think I'm going to talk much going into this first corner because I feel like I really need to be focused. I'm going to let any carnage or any crashes take place ahead of us. I don't really want to get too involved. My goal is really just to finish the race, and if it's possible to not end last, that's going to be the goal. Can we park up nicely here? We can. We get a purple. And here we go for the start of the race. Like I said, just want to stay out of any trouble on the first corner, which shouldn't be too hard considering we're in last. We got kind of a good start, but I don't want to crash into the car ahead of us. Again, just taking it slow for this first race. I'm going to let them get ahead of us quite a bit. And let's just kind of stay within striking distance of them. A bit slow through the first corner, but it looks like everyone avoided contact for the most part. And Behrman's pretty slow. Once again, let's just stay out of it. Our goal is to finish the race. So we're going to go pretty slow here. Just don't crash into the back of anyone. Although we are getting pretty close to Behrman. I think we are going to have some opportunities to pass, to be honest, as they're pretty slow ahead of us. We'll see how it looks going into, I can't think of what it's called, the chicane. After this long straight here. Let's use some ERS and see if we could catch Behrman. He's pretty slow just because he's caught up by everyone in front. We're in, let's see. I don't want to be too risky going into this corner because it is a pretty dangerous. I'm going to back out of that. He kind of closed the door on us a little bit. And like I said, on this first lap, we don't have flashbacks. So let's just play it cool. Once again, he kind of closes the door on us there. But I'm not picky. We've got a long race to go. We can be patient. But it's just nice to know that we're able to stick to the back of the cars ahead of us and we're not just being dropped, you know. And just like that, we're almost through the first lap and we can kind of relax here for a second. I've almost hit the back of Behrman about, oh man, I dropped it into neutral. That was an accident. So again, still getting used to the game, still getting used to getting into racing. I haven't played an F1 game in about a year. But I think we should be able to catch back up quickly. But there's lap 1 done, and the car is still on the track, which is great news. We can relax a little bit. If we have a little lapse in concentration, we can now use the flashbacks. We're really right on Behrman here. It's lap 3. Not much has happened. There's kind of a little bit of a DRS train forming, but not able to catch up to Behrman and make any sort of real attempt at a pass. It seems like we're going to be stuck in this kind of line of cars up to maybe 15th, 16th place here for quite a while. So about at this part of the track, every lap, we're getting really close to Behrman. And one thing I noticed, me and Ollie Behrman are both on the mediums. Lawson and Hadjar are both on the hard. So it's within both of our best interests. I'm going around the outside of Ollie Behrman here. Are we going to get our first overtake of our career? I think we do. We get that move done right before the chicane. But like I was saying, Hadjar and Lawson, who are right in front of us, they both have the hard tires, so they should be slower than us. Hadjar's going for a move on Lawson. Can he get that done? And Ollie Behrman's trying to come up the inside there. Whoa, I don't know if we got tapped or if I just put the power down too quick, almost spun out there. Hadjar and Lawson fighting through this whole third sector, but this might open the door for us to make a move into turn 1 coming around this corner. We've got DRS. I don't know how close Ollie Behrman is to us. He's right there. We had kind of a little moment coming out of the final corner. Can we defend from Ollie Behrman? I think we can, and we do. But this fight between Lawson and Hadjar looks like it might continue here, although Lawson's lost a bit of ground. Can we go up the inside? No, we can't. Lawson defends. And for now, we are in 19th, making up ground. And we're down the back straight again, right on Lawson's tail. Can we pass him going into the chicane like we did to Ollie Behrman? I've got overtake on. I've got DRS. I don't know that we're going to be able to quite. We can't really go. I was worried we were about to go 3 wide in there. Luckily, we all thought better of it and backed out. And we all continue on in the race. And man, we are right on Lawson and Hadjar on the hard tires. So granted, we should be passing them. And we should be able to put some distance between us and them. Once we do, oh, I tapped Lawson. It was a light tap, but it was enough to make the back end sort of, I can't even talk right now. And Ollie Behrman's right there, not really able to drop him. He's trying to go on the outside of that corner. Weird decision, but either way, whoa, same thing that happened in qualifying almost just happened to us. We're 7 laps into this race, and it seems like these last four runners, Hadjar through Ollie Behrman, are all just going to kind of be in it together, stuck back here, fighting for the last four places, which is kind of where we expected to be. But if there is any opportunity to pass Lawson and Hadjar, I think it would help our race just to get ahead of these slower, hard tire runners. And Lawson was pretty slow coming out of that final corner. The problem is this start-finish, I can't even talk. Oh, that was a little bit cheeky. I'm going to give that back because I don't think we deserve that. And Behrman makes his way through. I really didn't mean to go for an overtake there. I was kind of just late on the brakes and I was trying to talk. So I'm not going to try to take that. He moved out of the way even though it was his corner, and I don't think that's fair. And as a result, we lost the place to Behrman. But I think we'll be able to get it back here. I'm just really anxious to get ahead of Lawson. Again, we passed Ollie Behrman in the same place we passed him before. Not quite. I don't want to be trying too many moves into that chicane, as it will definitely not end well one of the times we tried. Whoa, Behrman stepped out quite a bit trying to get past Lawson. We'll see if he can make that move stick. He's around the outside, and with him fighting, it might also give me an opportunity to get past Lawson. So I could just follow Ollie Behrman through, and they're super slow, almost crashed into the back of Lawson again. And Lawson's just so slow around that final corner, it's hard to carry any momentum into the start-finish straight. Behrman gets past, now it's our turn. And towards the end of the lap again, and Lawson is just like, we should have an opportunity, but he just goes so slow. Oh, do we have an opportunity around to go? No, and we go in such a low gear trying to get past Liam Lawson around that final corner. We just can't get enough momentum on the start-finish straight. And I'm starting to get worried that we're going to spend this entire race in the back. But we'll see what we can do. And we get track limits there for the first time at turn one. Wow, and big news, Yuki Tsunoda is out of this session. I'm not sure what happened. I'm not going to stop and look. Oh, we've got a yellow flag. We'll go slow. It looks like probably a mechanical issue, as didn't see any damage or debris on the road. And we've got an objective here, achieve a lap time of a 1:26. Well, our fastest lap is faster than that, so we've got 4 laps to get there. I feel like we lost a lot of time in that yellow flag area there. I'm not sure that Ollie Behrman or Liam Lawson slowed down. But to be honest, I'm not 100% sure of the rules of the yellow flag. Do you need to slow down, or you just need to not pass? Surely you have to slow down. All right, we're going down the back straight right now. Liam Lawson and Behrman, we're close, but we're never close enough. We'll see if we can catch up. As long as Lawson has DRS, we might not, but we've got a great run on Liam Lawson. He tries to defend. Whoa, we almost lose the car there, and we've got to back out of that one. That was a pretty sudden movement by Liam Lawson that I wasn't ready for. And it kind of messed us up all the way there. As you can see, we almost spun again. We just got to be careful. I'm not sure if the tires are starting to degrade. We are set for a pit stop fairly soon. I think it's lap 18 or 17. But we still got about 6 laps, 7 laps to go on this set of tires. We've got a chance here maybe to get Liam Lawson on the start-finish straight. I'm going to go for it. We went for a move. I think we got it done, and we do. Just be careful on the accelerator, and we passed Liam Lawson finally. Like I said maybe 10 laps ago, we got to find a way to get ahead of these hard tire runners, specifically Liam Lawson and Isaac Hadjar up there. But we've got Ollie Behrman in the way, so he's next up. And Ollie Behrman, we might get here again. That's dangerous. I'm backing out of that. I caught track limits. That's so annoying because we lost time. But I guess that is what it is. And I think we only get one more now before we get a penalty. So got to be super careful because that's our second one, and it's only lap 12. Goodness gracious. Yeah, just going to have to be careful for the rest of the race. But hoping we can get Ollie Behrman here on the upcoming start-finish straight. Let's see. Went a little wide around that corner. We'll have DRS, but he won't. But that little slide going into the straight won't help us at all. I'll try to put on some battery, but I think he's too far ahead. I think we got to worry more about defending from Lawson right now. All right, we are so close to Ollie Behrman, and we're going to have DRS coming down here. We might get to him before the DRS zone, and we kind of do. You can't close the door on us there. I mean, I guess you can, but that seemed a little dangerous. We're going to have to back out of that. I thought we could maybe go side by side through there, but he made it very clear that we are not going to go side by side through there. But what about through here? Nope, it's not going to happen. But let's eye up a move at the next DRS zone. And I think we're getting closer to Hadjar up there. Wow, we're so close to Ollie Behrman coming out of that final corner. But is Behrman going to get DRS from Hadjar? He's not. So we've got an opportunity here with Lawson right behind us still. I think we're going to get this move done. We'll go to the inside. He doesn't have enough speed to go around the outside. So now we're up into, I don't even know, 17th because Yuki is out. So only 19 cars running. Now we've just got to catch up to Hadjar on the hards, and then we'll be well on our way to a fairly successful race when you think about how qualifying went. All right, and here we come on Isaac Hadjar. I think we're going to get our chance to make a move here, maybe even into this corner. It's going to go, oh, someone's out of the session as I try to avoid contact. I think it was Ocon is out of the session. But again, no teammate is in the pits already. I wonder... Oh, he started on a soft tire. Okay, that makes more sense. And there's Ocon. I think he pulled over once again. Must be a mechanical issue. But either way, we made the pass on Isaac Hadjar. So we kind of got past those slower cars. I mean, meaning the cars that are on the hard tires. Now we can kind of just focus on getting a consistent pace as long as they can't catch up to us. We're actually in a pretty great spot right now. As you can see, the cars behind are not in DRS range of us. And the only car that should be sort of on a similar pace because they're on the medium tire is being held up by Hadjar on the hard tire. So we're in a good position. They're already over 2 seconds back to just sort of maybe put some time into the car ahead. Stroll is about 10 seconds ahead of us. We're slow through that corner, but Hadjar and them are so far back, I'm not too concerned about it. So we're just setting laps at this point. And at the end of lap 18, we are going to go into the pits. A lot of other people have pitted as well, but we're really starting to put some time between us and the cars behind. I have pit assist turned on, so I'm not controlling any of that. We're just going to turn in. It should be a fairly simple pit stop. And I'm curious if any of the cars behind pit as well. It looks like they don't. Not bad. 2.4 seconds. We'll take that. Get back on the road. We're still on the medium tires. So we're in last, but there's quite a few cars, like all the cars that we passed, they still have to pit, and they probably will. Well, the hard tire runners will probably pit. Well, I don't know when they'll pit, but Ollie Behrman should be pitting pretty soon because he's on the mediums. So Lawson and Hadjar have pit, and we've been on these new mediums just flying, and all of a sudden doing... Wait, has Behrman pit yet? He must not have pit because there's no way... Because he was behind us. So I guess that means we've made up almost a pit stop on Ollie Behrman. And Jack Doohan is right there as well, who wasn't really even in the fight that we were having. And there's another driver up there. I don't know who that is, but we're catching up on quite a few people. And we've already put 15 seconds between us and Isaac Hadjar. Who is that up there? As Behrman goes into the pit. So we have made up a full pit stop on Ollie Behrman. We're now... oh no. Data, so keep doing what you're doing. I'll let you know if we notice any genuine problems. Now that's a scary message. And just as a reminder, actually, I don't know if I ever said this, we've got full damage on, meaning that any part of our car can be damaged by like the slightest thing, and also mechanical failures are on. Our car at any moment could stop working and we're out of the race. Like that is 100% a thing that could happen at any moment. So that sensor being an issue is a little worrisome. But either way, we're kind of now, that's Albon up there, we're kind of into an upper echelon of the race than where we started. I think our pace, once we were able to get out in front of the hard tire runners, has just been a lot better, especially on these new mediums. And we're just catching up. I mean, I guess 15th is our true position. I mean, two drivers are out, both Ocon and Tsunoda. So right now, we're kind of almost into an area where we can be fighting for the points, which is super exciting. But we've caught up to Albon pretty quickly here. It makes me wonder, I mean, I think our tires should be similar. They're on the mediums as well, and we just passed them. To me, honestly, I'm a little worried that perhaps the difficulty is a bit low. And to be honest, at the start of this series, there's probably going to be some issues with that. You know, there's 110 different difficulty settings on this game. So It does take some refinement to get right, especially since, even throughout the course of this race, I'm going to get better at the game just because there's so many laps, so many corners. I'm just naturally, you're just going to improve the more time you spend on it. I don't want it to be unrealistic, so we will probably up the difficulty for the next one. But at the moment, we're just flying, and we're almost caught up to Doohan now. And we could potentially pass Doohan right here, and I think we will get a pretty good opportunity. I don't know. I gotta give him that space. I mean that place. I think that was kind of a weird move by us. I don't think we really deserved to go for it there. And we kind of just, luckily, no damage for either of us. But yeah, just a stupid, risky move by us there. But what I was gonna say is, I say that this is unrealistic and that it's too easy. I haven't seen our teammate yet. Where is Nico Hulkenberg? I guess I could pause it and look at the current standings, but as far as I can tell, Nico Hulkenberg is down the road, and if we're in 14th and we can't see him, we're going to go for a move here. Almost lost control of the car while hanging around the outside. Don't want to get track limits. Luckily, we don't, and Doohan stays ahead. We now have an objective to overtake Doohan before the 32nd lap. I don't think that should be an issue. In fact, I think we might get him here after the next DRS zone, which is coming up in just a couple of corners. I'm gonna check as soon as we pass him. I'm gonna check the I can't think of what it's called, the standings of the race. And whoa! Every time we're about to have an overtaking chance, I always do something stupid like that and just see where our teammate is. Because if he's in the top 10, that's gonna be pretty incredible. All right, come on. We've got to get Doohan here. Ooh, I don't know if we just tapped the wall, but a little scary. I'm not going to go for it. I don't want to risk it. Will we have a chance at Jack Doohan coming down towards the chicane? I think we will. And we pass him before the corner. That makes it pretty easy on us. And we hit our objective, which is awesome. Now let's take a look. Where is Nico Hulkenberg? How do we... Oh, race director. That's what I was looking for. So Nico Hulkenberg is in 11th. We've actually almost caught up to him, which is insane because he had a soft tire stint, which basically just means that over the course of the whole race, he should have been a lot faster than us. And this kind of guarantees, kind of confirms to me that we should turn the difficulty up. As you see, Esteban and Yuki are out. We were racing with these three for quite a while, but we've just completely put them behind us. Isaac Hadjar putting on 2 hard tires. I guess they're going to put on a soft at the end. Either way, I think it's a little too easy for us right now, especially starting in last. But we'll finish this race. It's hard because I almost don't want to score points because I don't think it's realistic. But then again, Nico Hulkenberg, our teammate, is up there in 11th. So who knows? We'll just see what happens. We're almost halfway through the race. We're about 4 laps away from the middle. So let's just see how it continues to develop. You never know what might happen. And Fernando Alonso just came out of the session. And Doohan, what happened to yellow flags? We passed Fernando Alonso right as he was out of the session. And Doohan didn't slow down at all. This dude's right on us. Now he's trying to pass us. That's messed up, man. We kind of pushed him off a little bit. But to be fair, he deserves it. And he gets past us. How is that fair? How is that fair? All right, we got to get him back quickly. He was literally like a second and a half behind us. Oh, man. I keep doing that. I keep putting it down into neutral because I'm an idiot, and Albon's almost caught up. Fernando Alonso having a mechanical issue just lost us about 4 seconds, I think. But oh well, we'll just have to catch back up to Doohan. And right now we're so much quicker than everyone else around us. It's kind of just insane. We're just able to drive right by Doohan. So yeah, definitely going to put the difficulty up in the next race. Let's see. Gasly and our teammate are about 5 seconds ahead of us. Actually, it looks like Gasly and Hulkenberg are fighting a little bit right now. We'll see if we can catch up to them before the next pit stop. But for now, we're kind of just cruising. Wow, well that's news. All in the forecast said that there was going to be a completely dry race. In 10 to 15 minutes, that's still in the race. So some drama maybe to come in this one. For now, we're kind of just about 2.5 seconds, 3 seconds behind Gasly and Hulkenberg up the road. Because Fernando Alonso exited the race, Hulkenberg is now in the points. Could Kick Sauber score 1 point in this race and possibly 2 or more? I guess 3 if he ends up in 9th and I end up at 10th. That would be pretty incredible. But for now, we're just kind of stuck between Doohan and Hulkenberg and Gasly. And after some fighting between Hulkenberg and Gasly ahead, we've actually caught up, and someone's coming out of the pits as well. They're about to join this fight as we catch up to them also. Who is that? That is Carlos Sainz. He's out of the pits, and now there's from Sainz down to Doohan behind us, it's quite a bit of traffic right here. We might be able to take advantage of this. Hulkenberg up into 9th place now, well into the points. We might have a double points finish in the first race of the season, which would be incredible for the team. I don't know that it's sustainable. I don't want to say it's luck, but I think it might be a bit of luck mixed with a difficulty potentially being too low. And we're about to get Gasly as long as he doesn't push us into the wall, which he doesn't. And we're kind of side by side-ish going down to the chicane. Someone's going to have to back out. I'm taking the corner. And there we go. And all of a sudden, here we are with our teammate Nico Hulkenberg, who qualified so much better than us. And we might just pass him right here. That seems dangerous. I'm not going to go for it. But on the start-finish straight, we might just, coming out of the final 2 corners right here, we're right on our teammate. And realistically, we should have similar pace. So this kind of tells me that the difficulty is too high, but that's okay. We're just going to try to keep it as realistic as possible. The way that we can kind of judge realism, or at least, I don't want it to be too easy, is kind of we can judge it based on how close we are to our teammate. And if us and our teammate are both 9 and 10, I mean, the AI in this car is in 9th place. Now, if we all of a sudden speed by him like it's nothing, and then we go on to get a podium in this race, obviously the difficulty is way too high. But for now, if we just stick with our teammate, I think that's fair enough. And Hulkenberg ahead of us goes into the pits, which should free us up to go a little bit quicker. I don't know that we're a lot faster than him at this stage, but we're at least a little bit faster. Let's have a good in lap. We'll kind of gauge what's his name? Gasly's time behind us and see if that gap comes down or goes up. Well, it's coming down quite a bit, and Gasly's right there as we speak. We went deep into that corner. Gasly surely will take advantage of that, but he does not, and we slide around that one. All right, our tires are going. Are we pitting on this lap? I don't know how to get rid of that, so I'm not sure. But we need to pit pretty soon because these tires are starting to go off a bit. We've got both Alpines right on our tail. And as the engineer says, rain is 10 to 15 minutes away. Gasly passes us on the way down to the chicane, and his teammate Doohan almost does as well. We hold him off, keep the car within track limits. Now let's take a look. When is our pit window is lap 37, so that's the next lap. And Doohan's trying to go around the outside now. I think we should be able to defend that. And all types of stuff is going on now. As I was saying, everything seemed too easy. Now we're under a ton of pressure from both Alpines as we approach our pit stop in the next lap. This in-lap has been horrible. I mean, we're keeping up with Gasly, but quite a few moments on that app. Gasly will pit, so will we, to put on our hard tires. This will be our last stop of the race, and Albon will pit behind us as well with Doohan continuing on. I'm curious to see where we come out in regards to our teammate. They were right ahead of us when they pitted. We'll see what tire they went to and how the pace was on that. Good stop, 2.4 again. Hulkenberg already out. I wonder what tire he's on, though. I didn't get a chance to see it as he drove by. And we are behind Lawson, who's on a soft tire. I'm not sure exactly how all the strategy played out, or if they're going to pit again being on the soft with 20 laps to go. I guess we'll see how that unfolds. But for now, we're still behind Gasly in 14th place, but there surely are still some cars ahead of us that need to pit. Doohan pits, so we're going to pass him as Albon gets past us. These hard tires do not work with our car because it just feels like I have no grip. Maybe the tires aren't warmed up all the way as we kind of hold off Albon, but he's right behind us. Let's see, Lawson's still ahead. Pierre Gasly's already pulled out almost a 4-second gap on us. And we get an objective to stay ahead of Albon until lap 47. That might be difficult with the way our car is handling on these hard tires. Did we just get blue flags? I don't think so. I don't see anyone behind us. Maybe that's Max Verstappen coming up. I can see on the mini map on the bottom left. But either way, we've got to worry about Alex Albon right now and keeping him behind us. Man, the low speed corner with these hard tires is just not working for us. We got to keep Alex Albon behind. I'm going to go to the middle of the track. We still have overtake mode on, but there we go, able to turn it off for the corner. Kept Alex behind, but he might get ahead of us here. I don't know if we failed the objective immediately. We did, even though we are still fighting, but these low-speed corners are just so difficult on these hard tires. We're going to make it work, but I'm afraid that our position relative to like our teammate Hulkenberg, I just don't believe that anyone else is struggling as much as we are on these hard tires, or else Alex Albon wouldn't be so caught up to us. I mean, he's on the hard tire as well. Engineers talking about going to inters. It's literally dry on the track. I haven't seen any rain unless there's rain on a different part of the track. I've got bigger fish to fry right now without, whoa, some contact there between us and Alex in a very high speed part of the track. Lucky that there's no damage or, you know, worse, one of us ending up in the wall. But we're still struggling on these hard tires. I don't think there's any reason to go to inters considering there's literally no rain. They've been teasing us about rain potentially at the end of the race. And if it does happen, it would shake things up. But for now, I just don't think it's something we need to worry about. And we get blue flags. We're going to have to pull over a bit to let Max by. He goes by, but Alex kind of goes off into the distance. But he'll need to pull over as well shortly. Max in the lead of the Australian Grand Prix. And we're just going to kind of follow behind him, see if we can keep up and at least steal some DRS off of him while he catches up to Alex and eventually laps him. And after a lap of being behind Max Verstappen, he hasn't really pulled away from us too much, and he hasn't caught up to Alex yet. I'm starting to get a little concerned that we just gave up all that time to Alex and then Max won't even pass him at one point. But still the engineers going on and on about rain. Still don't see any, so not concerned about it yet. And finally, Max, what? I thought Max was going to pass Alex, and all of a sudden there's Liam Lawson, who's been on the soft tires, and the rain starts falling just now. Ooh, do we need to come in? I see just, it's barely sprinkling. Should we be proactive and go onto the inters? Let's see what other drivers do. They're not calling us into the pits yet, so maybe we'll stay out for one more lap on the hard tires. Either way, Liam Lawson is on the softs and was quite a bit ahead of us, quite a ways ahead of us. But maybe those softs are starting to go off, and it looks like they are. So let's try to get ahead of Lawson here up into 13th. The next person behind us is Dewan. He's 5 seconds behind, so not too worried about him at the moment. And all of a sudden, it's getting really difficult to brake. I don't know if that was just an error, but I don't know if it's the rain. It must be, but getting very hard to control the car now. But they're not calling us in yet, so I'm going to stay out for one more lap. Hopefully that's not a huge mistake, as Dewan makes up almost 2 seconds behind us. We just have to keep the car steady here and not lose control. These are Dewan pits. Dewan pits, presumably for inters, but we don't know how long the rain will last for. As long as we keep the car on the road, this shouldn't be a problem to go one more lap. Everyone's starting to pit behind us. This could have been a major error on our end, not pitting on the last lap, but we'll just have to see the lap times with the cars that go to the inters. I just don't know if we have the ability to see those lap times. So most likely we're going to pit at the end of this lap, but the team has not called us in yet, so I'm hesitant to pull the trigger. Oh man, I don't know. Should we box? Let me just look. How many cars have gone to inters? Charles, Lando, Jack Dewan, Isaac Hadjar are the only cars that have gone to the inter. Oh man. Let's keep going here just a bit and see if, because there's quite a few cars ahead of us, and if Max goes, maybe we should go. I'll try to keep an eye on the mini map and just go for a late. Teammate is in the pits. Should we go for it? I think we should. Oh yeah, we definitely need to go for it. Let's go to new inters. Let's get into the pits, taking a trip across the grass.
Okay, Nico's into the
And
pits.
we're into the
Nico
pits
in the
too.
pits.
Come on, we got to get Nico out of there before we get there. Perfect. So we should not be held up much, although we didn't tell them we were going to box, so I just didn't have time. But they've got the tires. No, they don't have the tires ready for us. But that's okay. As long as we keep our position, I'm not too upset by it, which I think we will. Let's see where we come out. We're still 14th, which I believe we were before. Doing um, is on enters behind us. Ollie Behrman did not pit, but I imagine he will. He's still 30 seconds behind. So here we go. Ollie enters the first time running in the wet weather in our career in a Formula One car, and we'll see how this goes. So Ollie Behrman did not put on wet tires. I think he's probably one of the only ones. We can watch that gap to see whether we made the right call or not. It was at 11 seconds, now into the 12s, back into the 11s. Looks like he's making up a little bit of time on us. We'll just have to watch that gap to see if he made a good call, although there might not be enough time left in the race for that call to really be good. And it's in the 12. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Why is he back in the pits? Is he putting on dry tires? Okay, Max, I believe that's Max ahead of us. Maybe, or is that Lawson? They did not pit.
Nico's coming in for his
Did
stop
Nico put on dry tires? He just pitted for wet tires, and the next lap he pits for dry tires? What is going on here? Did we make a mistake? I don't think so. It's still raining. But Nico Hulkenberg is now behind us in the race. That gap is around 4.8 seconds. We'll watch that to see if it comes down at all. It doesn't look like it is. I think that might have been an error from Nico Hulkenberg. I'm not sure what the game plan was there, but he is losing time to us now, up to 5.3. And I think I'm happy with our decision. We'll see if the rain stops. Maybe that turns out. What? Okay, well, maybe Nico Hulkenberg made a great idea, but as far as I can see, it's still raining. Let's see how this develops. DRS disabled, and Hulkenberg pits again. That's got to be a glitch. That has to be a glitch that just ruined his race. And honestly, the team's race. I was hoping that Hulkenberg would get points, at least one of us would, but now it looks like neither of us will. I'm not sure how that happened. I think our medium tires just really started to fall off towards the end of our second stint, and we couldn't keep up with the cars around us, lost some ground, and then the hard tires were just horrible for us. And now we're in 13th, 17 seconds behind us is Hadjar, 4 seconds ahead of us Lawson, and I think this might just be about where we finish the race, barring a potential dry finish to the race. We'll just have to see what happens, but right now, running in 13th. Since we've been lapped by Max and Charles and both McLarens at this point, this is our last lap 57. As you can see from the timing tables in the top left, we're about 15 seconds ahead of Hadjar and 15 seconds behind Albon. It's been a pretty long end of the race. Nico Hulkenberg pit this lap. I think there must be a glitch going on. I'm not sure why he has pit so much more than everyone else. It doesn't make any sense. DRS did get enabled towards the end here, but it does not really matter for us. Max is going to win by a ton. In fact, we should probably see the notification come through in just a second saying that he crossed the finish line. I believe the podium is going to be Charles and Lando, if I remember right. But either way, we'll kind of debrief how this race went for us personally. I actually think it wasn't so bad, and there it is. Max Verstappen wins the opening race of the 2025 Formula One season as we round the last few corners a lap behind. I think there's definitely some positives to take from this race. Once the rain came, really nothing happened. But before the rain on the dry tires, we started off a little slow in that battle with those bottom four runners. That was Ollie Behrman.
And that's the end of the race. We'll see you in Parc Ferme.
The other racing we lost. But man, to start 20th and to have Lance Stroll was driving today. Wow. But to start 20th after a crash in qualifying and then to end up in 13th ahead of our teammate on the left. Pretty good, no points, but I still feel like that was fair result for us. Maybe not fair, we haven't been pushed the points yet, but I think overall we can be pretty happy. We had some good overtakes, some good battles on the track. No disasters, no big mechanical issues or anything like that. There's
From
Max
lights
coming out
out
to
to the
take
checkered flag,
his strong.
each and every driver has this moment.
So we've got Max, Charles, and Lando on the podium. Lando started second and went down one. Charles started fifth and ended up in second. Carlos Sainz up in seventh. Lance Stroll started 16th, ended up in 10th. That's why he got driver of the day. We started 20th and got 13th. I almost feel like we deserved it a bit more. Our fastest time was pretty quick compared to the people around us. Isaac's fastest lap was like 2 and a bit seconds slower than ours. So there's the total ending grid, or however you say it. I don't know. Honestly, those races are so long, my brain is just like fried. But let's get back to the main menu and wrap the episode up. Here we are after the race. I still feel pretty good about our performance there. But anyway, that'll be it. In the next one, we'll do the Chinese Grand Prix. Hit the like button and subscribe. We'll see you in the next one for China.